All right, today we're going to break down a really powerful and pretty intense philosophy for life. It's called the Doctrine of Self-Command and Abundance. And look, this isn't about little life hacks or small tweaks. This is about a fundamental rewiring of how you see yourself, your own power, and really your place in the world. So if you're ready for a real change, let's dive in. So the source material kicks off with this incredibly direct and commanding statement. It's not a suggestion, it's a demand for your full attention. It really sets the tone for everything that follows. This is serious, this is transformative, and it all starts with your choice to actually listen. So, are you listening? Here's the game plan. We're going to break this whole doctrine down into 5 core pillars. We'll start with mastering your inner world. Then we'll move to commanding respect from others. After that, we'll tap into a mindset of abundance, learn how to turn hardship into power, and finally, we'll cover the practical rules of leverage. All right, let's dive right into the first, and honestly, the most critical part, the foundation of self-command. According to this doctrine, everything, and I mean absolutely everything, flows from your ability to master your own mind, your emotions, and your actions. It all starts inside. You see, this makes it super clear that self-command isn't just some vague idea. It's something you build through daily practice. I mean, think about it. Plan your day the night before. When you wake up, the decision's already made. There's zero room for doubt. And discipline. Don't think of it as a cage. See it as the one key that actually unlocks your freedom. And finally, that emotional control, especially when you're under pressure, that calmness, that's what gets you respect. It shows everyone you're in charge of yourself. And this right here really nails a core difference in mindset. Weak people, their default setting is to make excuses, shift the blame, avoid responsibility. But strong people, they don't need excuses. If there's some kind of misunderstanding, they just clarify. Simple. They operate from a place of ownership, not victimhood. It's a really good question to ask yourself, right? Which one are you? Here is the crucial point. Self-respect isn't something you're just given. It's not handed to you. It's forged. It's built in the fire of doing difficult things. Every single time you choose the hard path, that tough workout, that difficult conversation, that project that scares you, you are casting a vote for the person you want to become. You're earning your own respect, one hard choice at a time. Okay, so once you've laid that foundation of inner control, what's next? How do you project that strength when you're dealing with other people? Well, that brings us to the art of commanding respect. All right, this first principle. It's going to sound a little weird, right? Don't say beautiful things. I mean, we're always taught to be charming, to give compliments. But this doctrine argues that empty praise, well, it's just worthless. It's transparent. And then, boom, here's the other half of that idea. Instead of just generic flattery, the key is genuine recognition. You see something real and true about a person, their resilience, their cleverness, the way they handled a situation, and you just state that. Like the source says, I'm impressed how you handle yourself. That kind of specific, true observation, it lands with 1,000 times more impact than any empty compliment ever could. And you can see how this all ties into the power of presence. It's not about being the loudest person in the room, it's about being the most centered. When you speak less, your words just carry more weight. When you actually listen to people, you make them feel seen, you make them feel like they matter. This creates this aura of quiet confidence that just naturally draws people to you. Okay, let's shift gears a bit from action to philosophy. Section 3 gets to the core belief system that really fuels everything else we're talking about, the abundance mindset. This is all about tapping into the source of all power. Now, when this doctrine talks about abundance, it's not talking about having a lot of stuff. It's a deep, internal knowledge. It's this unwavering belief that you are fundamentally connected to an infinite supply. The idea that you lack nothing because you are part of everything, that's a huge shift from a mindset of scarcity to one of unlimited potential. So how do you actually live that way? Well, it comes down to this. It means trusting your own internal certainty, that connection to the source, way more than you react in fear to whatever temporary circumstances are going on around you. Your inner state dictates your reality, not the other way around. Now, this is a pretty deep idea, and you can interpret it in a lot of ways. The crucial point here is that this power isn't something you pray to, it's something you command from. The doctrine basically says that this divine, creative force isn't some external thing. It's the very essence of your being. You're a co-creator, And to forget that is just to give away your power. All right, you ready? Because now we're getting into what might be the most intense part of this whole philosophy. Section 4 is about the path of true strength. It's about actively taking life's biggest difficulties and turning them into your greatest advantage. First up, seek pain. Now hold on, this doesn't mean what you think it means. We're not talking about self-harm here. It means voluntarily embracing discomfort. Pushing your limits in a workout, taking a cold shower, finally tackling that project you're afraid of. The logic is, when your body learns to handle discomfort without complaining, your mind is freed from that weak, constant nagging for ease and comfort. Next up, seek rejection. Yeah, you heard that right. It means deliberately putting yourself in situations where you might get told no, asking for that promotion, pitching that bold idea. When you do that, you build an immunity to what other people think. You detach your self-worth from their validation, and that is a massive source of freedom and power. And the third piece of this puzzle is to seek challenges. According to this doctrine, comfort and ease are the enemies of growth. True strength, real progress, it can only be found on the other side of a major challenge. It's the only way you'll ever find out who you really are. Now, this one is a pretty cold, strategic way of looking at human dynamics. It advises a certain level of detachment, seeing loyalty not just as a virtue, but as a form of currency. Betrayal isn't a personal wound to cry about. It's an inevitable event that can actually be turned into a strategic advantage. It's about observing and acting, not just reacting emotionally. Okay, let's bring it all home. Our final section is about how this all comes together. Section 5 is about the principles of power, the specific, tangible rules for applying this inner strength to get real-world results. This is just pure strategy. Instead of always relying on willpower, you build systems that make the right actions almost automatic. You stop glorifying hard work just for the sake of it, and you focus on leverage, those key points where a tiny input creates a massive output. And the ultimate rule here, never trade your time for money. Time is the one asset you can never, ever get back. Use your money as a tool to buy back your most precious resource, your time. And this is just a hard truth, isn't it? Your inner certainty, that's for you. But for the rest of the world, results are the only language they really understand. Your self-command doesn't mean a thing until you translate it into tangible, visible wins. So after all of that, after all the deep philosophy and all the hard strategies, it really just boils down to this. This entire complex way of thinking can be distilled into just 3 pillars: the mindset of abundance and self-command, the discipline to practice it every single day, and the action to get real results in the real world. That's the whole engine. And that brings us to the very end. And it's not a statement, it's a question. A challenge, really. It says that you have this huge potential inside of you, the power to command attention, to change your own reality. It's given you the blueprint. The only question left is, will you use it?